something I always tell people is like, whether you're studying or whether you're in this business or trying to get in the business, is like, you have to come to a point where you look at yourself in the mirror and you ask, like, am I about it? Like, do I really want this? Right.
What's up, everyone? This was Ask Alex number 86. And on this episode, we interviewed an incredible investor and really kind of talked about his evolution. We had on Derrick, our guy flipping a house. And Alex, what were your biggest takeaways?
Social media was huge on this webinar. We went in depth. We showed the deal makers how it's been successful for our businesses, for both of us. And also we went in detail on how he went from wholesaling all the way to where he's actually developing property. So much to learn on this webinar. Check it out. All right, what's up, everybody? I'm excited. Today we are interviewing Derrick, my man flipping a house. This guy is a beast investor out of the Houston market. And I think you guys are going to get a tremendous amount of value from talking to him, seeing what he's about, how he's evolved from being a wholesaler all the way to where he's developing property. Let me promote my co-host, Lowball Wall, as they call him, Mr. Will Wall. How's everybody doing today? Same bat channel, same bat time. Wednesdays, 3 p.m. PST. Well, you got to remove that picture already. Everybody keeps telling me to take that picture out. You know, it's like, exactly, okay. And then we got this guy.
Who's this guy? Who's this guy, right? Who is this guy on here? It looks completely...
Will Wall, please stand up.
Yeah, hey, put your hands up, right? No, well, good to be here, Alex. Like you said, we're interviewing a killer investor right now. Today, he's from the Houston area. I'm excited for this one. This should be super fun. We'll dive into that in a minute, obviously. In the meantime, if you guys want to use the chat feature down below, you guys can feel free to do that. Alex, if you'll make me the co-host, I will go ahead and get the chat feature unlocked and we'll see what we can do on that. And then if you guys get a chance, like we said, go ahead and chat in, let us know where it is that you guys are coming from, where it is that you guys are investing, and then also where we can find you on Instagram. Like, you know, Alex is at Alex Camacho TV, at Will's Four Walls. You know, that's where you can connect with us, but go ahead and use the chat. It should be unlocked now. And just let us know, guys, where it is that you guys are tuning in from and where we can find you and connect with you on Instagram. So Alex, in the meantime, tell us, I know you have some big exciting news this week, kind of what's been going on in your life, and you know, keep us up to date, man.
Yeah, so I'm currently still down here in Guadalajara, Mexico. Been here for a couple weeks now. So headed to downtown LA tomorrow, where I'm headed back to LA tomorrow morning. And it's been great. So I think the one big thing that we did this past week is we finally sold one of our Joshua Tree properties that we flipped to, it was a hybrid deal, but it took a lot longer than we expected, went over budget, but thankfully we bought it at such a great price, and we bought it deep, and we made a killing on that. I think it was a 6-figure flip, so we can't get those all the time, but we'll take those all day, baby. So I'm really excited about that flip. Also, we had a good amount of our capital inside that deal, so it's good to get that one done into the finish line. That's also going to help with the teams that are helping us rehab those properties in the desert to go over to the other the other 4 projects we have and get those finished out as well. So I'm really happy about that. Also, I spent a little bit more time here in Mexico because I got quoted $25,000 for all the dental work I needed in Los Angeles, and me being a frugal investor, I got it done down here for a fraction of the price, only about $8,000. I was quoted 25, so I got a new smile. Really happy about that. Also, we've been posting more consistently on some stuff that we've been recording as far as like reels and short clips and some of the stuff that we want to share with more people out there on social media. So that's been going great. We've been seeing a lot of responses, a lot of engagement, and because of that, we've been a little bit short-staffed, so that kind of fell a little to the side. But what's great now is that we've hired a new team member for social media. She's coming on board on Monday. She'll be a kind of community manager, help your social media, my social media, the team's social media. That will be great. And then I think the big one is the downtown LA meetup. For those of you who have not seen it yet, we are hosting the biggest real estate investor free event that you've ever seen. 300 plus deal makers coming to downtown LA tomorrow from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. So you'll see Will, you'll see myself, you'll see all of our amazing team, or most of our amazing teams, as some of them are in different states and virtual and other countries. But they'll be with us in spirit. So that's it, man. I'm ready to interview Derrick. You got any update? What else we're gonna chat about? This is gonna be like the evolution of an investor, because this guy started from a wholesaler, but now he's developing, he's doing a whole bunch of other cool stuff.
Yeah, no, I think this will be a cool call. Again, guys, like usually, when we bring on a special guest, it's because they're doing something cool. They're doing something special. They're doing something big. And so I think, Derrick is a great person to look at in terms of that, because like Alex said, like this is someone who's kind of, evolved as an investor, and done it pretty quickly as well in a marketplace that, some people like to think that you have to invest in your hometown, and Derrick is not investing in his hometown. He's investing in a new town, a new city for him. So I think it'll be fun to kind of dive in with him and go over his story. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring Derrick in, and then guys, as we're kind of going through this, feel free to use the chat feature. It's down in the bottom area right there next to the chat function. If you get a chance, just if you have any questions for Derrick, go ahead and chat him in right there. And Derrick, welcome to the screen, my man. How you doing, bro?
Yo, fellas, how are you guys doing today?
What's up, Derrick? How are you, bud?
I'm good. My apologies on the delay, putting out fires as always, but I am excited to be here. I haven't seen you guys since we were, in Phoenix. It's amazing to be here.
Yeah, for sure, man. No, thanks for coming on. I know you got a busy schedule, and you're probably out there in the field buying another house, flipping another house, building another house, one of those. But yeah, dude, I think we're gonna be able to give the deal makers a lot of value today. I think your story is very interesting from the social media aspect, from a competitive market, from having partnerships, from all that. So we're gonna cover a lot. Thank you for your time. But yeah, do we want to get started with Derrick's story?
Yeah, I was gonna say I'd love to just kind of dive in, Derrick, real quick. If you could kind of give us like a quick synopsis. Like I said, you're not investing in your hometown, so go ahead and give us a little background where you're at, where you're from, and we'll kind of dive into a little bit more of your investing career here in a bit. But obviously, want to just kind of get to know Derrick a little bit here before we dive in. So tell us about your humble beginnings.
Gotcha. Yeah, very humble beginning. So if you guys don't know, my name's Derrick, aka Flipping a House. And first off, I want to say thank you for the people that came to this, right? Like when I got started in real estate, you had to pay a lot of money to learn this stuff. So the fact that, all of us are taking time, it's so important. But I'll run through my story because I really want to add value. I don't want to just talk about myself, but for me, I come from a small town in East Tennessee. It's about 10,000 people is the population. And, I grew up there, went to high school there. And then, as I was getting through high school, about to graduate, I used to always visit Houston. My dad lived here, and he was like, you should think about coming here to go to college. And I just like being in a small town. If anybody's out there that is in a small town, they know this, but there's just not a lot going on. I mean, even after it's been 10 years since I moved, there's still the same stuff. Just, people just hanging out at Walmart. There's just nothing to do. So I was like, yeah, I need to get out of here. I need to get around people who are doing stuff. And, at the time, my dad worked for this wealthy individual. It was like the first time I heard you didn't have to go to college to be successful, and just like all these like high level, conversations. And, I was like, let me just try this out. Let me move to the city. So I made a plan. I still went down the college route, and, I don't knock college. I don't think college is for everybody, but, I moved to Houston to become a petroleum engineer. My whole plan for life was to become a petroleum engineer, make 6 figures or more, and then start investing in real estate in my 30s. I've always had this fascination with real estate. I don't know why, like, I've just always wanted to invest in real estate. And then, I was doing that the whole college route. I was, finishing up my associate's degree. I was about to go to the University of Houston, and I went to a rich dad seminar, found out about this thing called wholesaling. And literally that weekend changed my life. And that's why I say it's so crucial that everybody showed up today, because they were literally, I paid $500, which I didn't have at the time, to go to that seminar. My buddy paid for it, and I had to pay him back. And then, at the end of the day, we all know this, but it's a huge sales funnel, and they were pitching $50,000 for a mentorship. And I can guarantee what I'm going to talk about today is more than they were offering for that 50,000. So I just want people to, take advantage of, some of the things that we're going to talk about, because it's so important to get around like-minded people, like us, you know what I mean? Like I feel like we were all good friends even before we even met. And then when we met, it just, brought us closer, but it's just good because we all think better and bigger. Right. And yeah, that's kind of like my story and that my intro to real estate. We can definitely dive into more, but that's kind of evolved. I really started with wholesaling and, kind of cut my teeth doing that for the first few years. And we still wholesale too.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, I think there's a couple things unpack is that one, he knew from a young age that he wanted to invest in real estate. I can't say I wanted to invest in real estate, but there was definitely that fascination with it. Like, oh, who lives in these big houses when, growing up in LA? Like, who was able to afford a house like that size? Like, I live in an apartment that's like one,
Yep.
2 bedrooms with my brothers and my parents, and we have somebody here that, has more than enough space. What do they do? How are they able to afford, properties like that? But so this fascination, but it could very easily not turn anything. You have to take action. So, he's Derrick, he went to the seminar and a lot of these big education companies are known for that, right? They just like try to hit you over the head with these $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 packages. And that's why, gurus get kind of that name, that rap and that reputation, because, people pay all this money, but then they don't get anything. Well, they don't really get what they need to be successful in this business. I would rather say, not that they don't get anything, but it's not really a funnel to help people become multimillionaires. It's to help them make a lot of money. And if a couple people make it during that, then great. That's kind of the way things work in that kind of education space. Would you agree?
Oh, I mean, 100%, man. And I think it was like, shit, that's been 7 years ago now, but I think at least 7 to 10 people signed up, like minimum 7, at least 10. So, you look at almost, $500,000 in 3 days. Yeah, the salesmen probably make a good percentage, but that's way better than them, or quicker than the investments that we do. So it's definitely a funnel. It's definitely predatory. And I'm always curious. Like, I wish I could create a room somehow of all the same people that were there just to see, like, did you guys actually even take action? Because I would guess that, most of the people there that even paid the 50,000, they never took action. And for me, I still tried to do, like, I didn't, basically, because I had done network marketing when I heard about all of this, I didn't know about Bigger Pockets or, social media wasn't what it was. So I was like 50,000. I didn't have any student loan debt because I was paying for college out of pocket. So I was like, yeah, I'll do the 50,000. And I even tried and I got turned down, and they were still selling like some BS product with a monthly subscription. I think it was like $2,700. And I, once again, didn't have the money, and we spent my girl's tax return on it. And that was honestly like a really good thing, because that was like an anchor, because I knew regardless, if anything, I had to at least do one deal or get her money back.
I had to justify getting that money back, right?
Yeah.
Like, no matter what, I have to get that back.
Women, bro, they're never gonna let you live it down. And my girl, like, she's like me, she's a straight shooter. So she's, even if she let it go, she's gonna talk shit till we die. You know what I mean about that? And I'm too prideful. I had to pay her back, right?
Yeah. No, we were all kind of close friends with Indar over in Hawaii, and I know he paid for Fortune Builders, and this is one of those kind of education companies too. But yeah, dude, like, you gotta either run with that information, do the max possible to get your investment back, or like you really just got, like, you just wasted a bunch of money.
You've done that, right, Alex? Like, you invested in a course that you didn't put in your full time and effort into, right? And you got what you paid for, right? It was like, hey man, like, I did not dive into this. I did not take advantage of it. And now
Yeah, it's almost like the gym memberships, right? Where they sell you these packages and then like you end up not going, and they just bank on that. If everybody that signed up actually went to the gym, I heard like the gyms would be, over packed, like you wouldn't be able to actually work out. So that's, I think, similar with investing gurus and all that. Cool,
it's a last thing I was just gonna say is it's a feel good thing, right? Like, if you go to the seminar, it's like, oh, I'm an investor, right? How many people you met that are like, oh, I'm an investor, but they've never even like cold call a person? And it's like, it's easy for me to say this because I've been doing it for a while, and this business is very hard, but the concept of investing in real estate, wholesaling, flipping, bird, whatever it is very simple. It's not easy, right? And if you can get over it, like, get out of your own way and just like take action, because it's a double-edged sword. And that's what I try to tell people when they don't get it. It's like, action kills your doubt. And they're like, well, that doesn't make sense. But I'm like, because when you do that, then you actually, like, if you feel like you're doing something by going to a seminar, imagine actually talking to a seller. And I remember, I still will never forget my very first appointment. I almost had an anxiety attack. My girl was like, are you good? Because I was like hyperventilating. I was so nervous. but, or, you know, and for me, it was like, am I a bitch? Like, no, I'm not. So I'm going to go. I put in time. I said I was going to do this, you know, so I went on that appointment and I messed it up completely, like offered way too low. I had no idea what I was doing. But after that appointment, I never felt more sure in what I wanted to do, because I said I wanted to do real estate and I actually talked with a seller. I was this close. You know what I mean?
Did the calls. You did like, hey, I booked it. Okay, I got there. I'm at the front door. Like this person is letting me in their house. If I can do this and not botch the appointment, 1 out of 5, 2 out of 5, you know, 3 out of 10. Like it's a numbers game, right? So I love that.
Yeah, and one thing I just want to add, because I feel like this is probably where a lot of people are that are here, is like another moment, like my girl was real with me, is like one day it was like 8 months of studying, bro. I've made her listen to every Bigger Pockets podcast there was. Like she was so sick of podcasts and she was just not in a good mood. And she was like, look, you've been talking about real estate, you know, but you haven't done anything. So like, I need you to either take action or just like shut the F up about it. You know what I mean? And literally the next day, and it's crazy because we talk about doing all these calls and stuff, I literally sent out 35 to 40 letters, you know, and got one person that if I would have had the knowledge I had today, I would have got that deal. You know what I mean? But it's like by doing that one thing that I was so scared of, because I think people think that like fear is, you know, false evidence appearing real. And I used to say that all the time, but I really think, you know, fear is real. You got to look at it like it's scary, very scary. A lot of even the things that we're doing, like y'all bought an apartment complex, like these things that we don't feel that we're capable of. It's still scary. But the thing about, you know, being scared and fear is like, it's okay to be fearful, but you still do it. You do it scared anyway. Like that's the difference. So it's, you know, you can't say fear isn't real, but it's definitely real. But are you man enough or whatever to look at it and be like, I want this, you know, bigger than this fear? And then when you do it, you're like, bro, I was having a conversation with a person. They needed me to, you know, make an offer. There's nothing that I did wrong, but I made it, you know, so much more complicated in my mind.
Yeah, I absolutely love that saying, dude. Make sure you guys write this down. Like action kills doubt.
I was gonna say that too. Action kills doubt. I was literally gonna pull that back because I was like, guys, Derrick said it earlier. Alex caught it too. Action kills doubt. You could get a tattoo.
Money, bro. That's money, dude. And I know we were gonna have Derrick as a special guest at our downtown LA meetup, but it didn't work out. You know, with as far as travel, he's in Houston, but I'm sure he'll make the next one. But you know, stuff like that, we'll definitely have to say that at the meetup, and we'll give you credit for that, bro. Because
for sure,
it really does. You know, the way I put it, the way I.
And real quick, guys, while Alex is talking, I just want to let you guys know I'm dropping a quick quiz real quick, just because we're going to talk about the evolution of Derrick next. So while Alex kind of dissects that, we just want to kind of get an idea of who's in the room. Are you a wholesaler, a flipper, buy and hold? I know Derrick does development. Derrick does Airbnbs. We're going to talk about it all today, but we just want to get an idea who's in here. So keep going, Alex.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is just the way I put it to people is like, you just come to me with, you know, specific questions, because I find that people that are just getting started, or they're kind of in that education phase and they really haven't taken any real action yet. You know, have all these like really newbie questions and they're all kind of the same. But then the guy or the gal that's taking some action, made some offers, you know, started doing some cold calling, taking some type of action towards becoming an investor, actually being an investor, their questions tend to be much more specific. So I can almost tell like what someone's level is by the questions they're asking and the conversation that we're having. So I'm always pushing people like, hey, you know what? I think your questions are, you know, kind of ill-based here because of this. Go out here and do this, and then come back to me in 30 days. And I want to see if the questions that you have are the same. And usually they're not, because, you know, now they have a much more data from real world action compared to, it's like, oh, well, I read this and it said this, and, you know, I think it should work like this. So no, go do it, and then you'll see how it really works.
Yeah, I think because, you know, we're in information overload. It's never been easier to learn something. And that has also made us very lazy. And I think for people like us that get it, and people that are, you know, in this Zoom right now, if you're willing to take action, I mean, on a Thursday or Wednesday, you know, midday, to learn something that could, like this business. And I'm so passionate, like, I'm really fired up to be here, like just talking for free about real estate, because I genuinely, like, this business changed my life. And I need people to understand that. Like my last job, I was waiting tables. I used to literally walk away from tables getting sellers calls, like I'll be right back mid taking their order, because that's how bad I wanted it. And I need people to understand that, because like this business can literally, whether it's wholesaling or whatever you want to do. But, you know, you have to take the information because it can be very overwhelming, and just figure out what works for you. That's why I'm so big on social media. Like, some people that vibe, I feel like our crowds are very similar, right? But, you know, a lot of times I have these conversations and people are new to me. You know, I cuss, I'm just very straightforward. But a lot of people, like me as a person, I appreciate that, right? That's why I like you guys. Like, we're very straightforward people, but we're also willing to learn and help others. But like you said, a lot of times those questions come from places you can tell very quickly that they're not, you know, even they haven't, like, go listen, bro. If you listen to all 300 of bigger well, they're probably on 400 now, like, you know what I mean?
I
But
think
if
they're
you,
for us now. Yeah.
yeah, see, I kind of quit listening when
Oh, they
Brandon
have to be,
left.
because Alex was 419. So I think they might be in like the mid fours or fives now,
They're
probably.
already in the fives. They're already in the fives.
Yeah, they're in
But
the fives.
if you listen to every episode, like, that's a degree in real estate right there. And you have 500 different stories of people that did it all different. I'm sure you can resonate with certain people. And if not, just take tad bits from everybody's story. That's what I like to do. Like, I just love hearing people's stories because it might spark an idea in you, right?
One of my favorite books is The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. Gary Keller wrote it, and obviously Keller Williams, he's one of the, you know, the big guys out there, right? So the coolest thing about this book is, as you're reading page by page, if you flip to the back, there's like 20 stories, 20 to 25 stories that are each about a page or two, three long. And it's just like one of these webinars where it's like, dude, I just got to get all of this information about how Derrick did this. Like, he started doing this, started waiting tables. That gave him the info on how to get sales down. He was like, man, if I can add bacon and avocado on that burger, why can't I add a roof and you know, instead of flooring to this house? Like, it's the same thing. I'm just adding an upgrade to the product, right? So you know, I think those are big kind of takeaways. And, you know, I love the story, right? So let's kind of continue on to your story. I know we just had a poll, so I'm going to share the results of the poll just so everybody can see here. It looks like we got a good amount of wholesalers in here, some fix and flippers, some buy and holders, and then a couple Burr and Airbnb guys. So I know, you know, Derrick, let's start, like, obviously started going to these wholesaler courses, you bought in, now your Instagram is flipping a house. So how did that kind of go? Like, you start wholesaling, now you're flipping a house. Some people that, you know, they get stuck in between there. How did you start wholesaling, and how did you make the shift into flipping houses?
Yeah, so this is a great question. So first thing I want to say is, like, my Instagram name, when I thought about, like, taking social media serious, I just picked a name that resonated with real estate. I actually wasn't even flipping houses when I picked the name. I just got kind of lucky. And then I fell into, so what happened is I was wholesaling you know, a decent amount of houses, not like these huge, you know, companies, but I was doing, you know, anywhere from 1 to 3 deals a month. And it was just me. And some of those were JVs, some of those were my own marketing. And what happened is, like, in this journey of real estate, I ended up meeting my business partner. And, you know, I think we kind of talked about this, you know, when we were in Arizona, but it just happened organically. I think we did, you know, 5 or 6 deals, and I was doing deals with a lot of different people, but he just, you know, we just were on the same page. There was never an issue with, like, money and, like, you know, things like that. So, you know, we ended up, you know, basically I ended up was like, hey, would you, you know, not necessarily want to be my partner or, like, you know, get in a relationship, but just, hey, you know, if we're doing this and you have a job and it's part-time, imagine what we could do full-time. And that just led us down this road of doing more deals. And then we were getting really good deals. And then you know, meeting smarter people. They're like, have you ever thought about keeping some of these deals? So I bought 1 or 2 rentals. And then I went to a conference, met these other people, and they're like, have you guys ever thought about flipping? I mean, you're doing enough deals now. And then, you know, honestly, the flipping thing, it started out very slow. The last year, it's kind of like become its own thing. And I've kind of leaned into the name flipping a house. But, you know, like Alex said, we still wholesale. We do have a bunch of flips. You know, we're still burring. I'm buying, you know, Airbnbs. I'm working on my first new development. You know, we're starting to look at bigger deals. Like you guys as well, you know, like going to Phoenix, that was inspiring for me. So, you know, just, you know, taking care of people and building these relationships through social media and being a good person, it's led me down the road of, you know, creating some great relationships from private lenders and also like business partners as well.
Awesome.
Love that. Alex, I know you've taken social media a lot more serious recently. Like, guys in the chat, let us know if you've kind of noticed Alex's real game kind of picking up lately here. Give him some love if you have.
Thank you.
again, like, I think, it's important, right? So Derrick, I want to kind of touch on that, and Alex, you as well, because I think social media is a big part of, growth, right? Like getting deals. Alex, we've gotten deals on social media. Derrick, I'm sure you've gotten opportunities on social media. So, I'd love to hear from you both. Like, when did you guys both kind of cue in that, like, hey, social media is here, I need to really kind of go all in on social media?
You can take that first, Derrick.
Yeah, so life is funny how it comes full circle. For me, so I told you I grew up in a small town. I grew up riding motorcycles, and I'll tie this all in. But it was when the GoPro first came out, and me and my homies used to just make like videos. We would go on back roads and just like do wheelies and teenage shit, basically small town stuff. And we would post it on social media, and then I kind of got away from it when I moved to Houston. And I mean, we did Facebook and stuff, but it was nothing crazy. But what happened is once I got into real estate, and like as Instagram grew, it turned into more of a video platform and all this. I was always on it. And then what happened for the changing moment, to bring it full circle, is whenever I think it was 2018, Max Maxwell, which I had no idea who he was. I found out through one of my good friends who does a lot of deals in Houston. He's like, hey, this guy's coming. He's doing a pop-up. I didn't even know what a pop-up was. And he was like, it's going to be at this event. He's just going to talk real estate. And I was like, oh, okay. He's like, yeah, there'll probably be like a few people there. So I go to this event, and I hate networking. I'm just an introvert, like it's another reason why I built my social media presence, which I'll talk about. But I went to this event, and basically there was like 200 or 300 people here. Like it was so many people, they couldn't fit into the building. Like that's how many people. And all the questions that they asked this man, like they were this, the easiest of questions, which it's dope that they came out to ask them in front of all these people. But my point being, that day I was like, okay, I saw the power of social media firsthand, because this guy who I have no idea just came to my city and brought out 300 people and talked real estate. And then now, I mean, we see how big he is now. And, now that I know him and stuff like that, it's just cool to see. But my point being is just, that was like my moment, like that. And then I went to his event, and then that made me meet a lot of people, and I just started growing it, and, broke 10K pretty quickly. And I think what really resonates, and why people probably like your content, like I love your content, and same with, both of y'all, is like, I just never wanted to be something I'm not, because I can't be fake. I just share the reality of, real estate. And I think that's the most important part. Like if you've followed me from when I started, from, waiting tables to literally now, like I met a guy the other day in Walmart that was like, hey, I'm a big fan. I've been following you since you worked at, this place. And I'm like, you have been following me because I had a job, like, so it's just crazy to see. And then like now to see how the platform has just like changed with TikTok and the power of branding, and you can sell courses and all that stuff. But I think really for me, and how it comes full circle of meeting Alex in person, we've talked for a few years because of social media, was I got invited to the Maui Mastermind, and with Brandon and all these people, like high level people that I was easily probably the smallest fish in the room. And it was amazing to be there. And everybody kept asking me, how did you get invited? And it's really because of social media, because Brandon started following me, and like these people start, everybody's watching, whether they follow you or not, and you never know who that person is. And for me, I don't, I make a little bit of money from like ebooks and stuff, but I really have used it as a tool to get myself in rooms that I don't belong in. And then also, like you said, deal flow. Like I looked at a deal today, it's probably not going to work out, but I get 3 to 5 deals sent to me every day. I easily buy 1 to 3 houses a month from social media alone. So
the return on that, you can't even quantify,
infinite.
right? Like that
It's
could be
a free lead,
100 grand on those free leads from social, right?
Yeah, I mean, when I was in, I think I told y'all this. I was in the process of closing it when we were in Phoenix, but I bought that beach house. I was in Cabo with my girl, and a random guy DM'd me about a house, and now I have an Airbnb that we're almost finished with, and then I just have to furnish 5 minutes from the beach. And it came from an Instagram DM because his brother said I should follow you, and he was like, he was just a guy with money and was like, I have this house, I don't need it, do you want it? And I made a ridiculously low offer, and he said yes. And I was like, cool, like let's do it.
Social media brought you that lead, right? So
yeah, and it's going to be
Alex,
a cash cow. Like
Yeah, and Alex and I have gotten deals on social media too. Like we've gotten multiple deals, you know, where again, like same thing where people are just like, hey, I saw you doing a deal in my neighborhood. I didn't know you buy out here. Like, here's a deal. Take a look at this one, right? So, Alex, I know for you, big relationships, social media, that's a big thing, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when did you go all in on social?
So it was a couple years ago. I think it was similar to Derrick, where I noticed that, hey man, I'm actually getting some opportunities to buy property. At the time, it was still pretty early on in my journey, but because I was looking at so many properties in Southern California, I thought my feed could be interesting because I was in a wide variety of neighborhoods and properties. So started taking it seriously there, but I found that people kind of fall into those couple buckets. Like they either like just want to use like social media for like their personal profile to interact with some friends, some family, some people, and they're not really taking it kind of like how we use it, which is more of a business tool. I don't waste a lot of time on social media. I use it more as a tool for business, and that's why but to do that, you do need to produce content, and it's kind of like work on top of the work that people just don't end up doing, but at the same time, they don't get the benefits from it. So that's on them. That's why I feel like, hey, people like, Derrick and other people that we meet, we're like, hey, I know that it's like game recognized game. He respects me, I respect him. Why? Because we're in the same industry and we know how hard this game is and how to also document and produce content that, that is valuable to followers. Like that is not easy. So, but it's super valuable to the business. So that's why we do it. Like with any other KPI, it is something that you see that works, then you need to double down on it. So I think that's a couple of thoughts on it. Also, Brandon Turner at the Mastermind had given me this analogy to use a little bit called like when you go to like the carnival and then there's guys that are sketching little caricatures of you and you sit down there and it's like this kind of a bigger, version of you, or it's kind of an exaggerated version of you. That's kind of the way he said you need to treat social media in a way, because we're all putting on some type of performance, whether we like it or not, every single day, right? We go out there into the world, and I'm not the same Alex like on this exact call as I am, laying in my bed, watching TV late at night before I go to bed, right? I am someone a little bit different. I'm not in the same exact kind of energy type. So I think just knowing that you do need to kind of put on some type of performance, or at least the very minimum be out your authentic self, and then understand that like some people are going to resonate with that, some people are not. As like I don't want to be everybody's like kind of investor. I don't want everybody to follow me. Why? Because like I'm probably not going to connect with everybody. I'm not going to resonate with everybody. So those were kind of a couple thoughts of it. Like if you avoid it, you're also avoiding the potential benefits to your life. And that's why we're sharing with you guys now that, hey, it's super valuable, but it is hard to adopt. But just like with anything in business, if you adopt it and you get good at it, it's not as hard as it once was, right, Derrick? Like how hard is it for you now?
Oh yeah.
Content as it was 3 years ago.
Well, that's what I want to say, right? Is because people think it's this like hard thing, and like, bro, I am so busy. Like the reason I was late is because I'm trying to stop a foreclosure, and then the seller ghosts me last minute. I'm like, you're gonna lose your house, right? But like, even though I've been as busy as I am today, I've visited 3 different properties, I've put out 1 million fires, right? I've still shot easily 3 to 5 different videos, right? And literally just simple things like time lapse or whatever it is, just record your day and then put the videos together at the end of the day. And now with TikTok, like they just did an update, like bro, like my son, like when he starts doing social media in a couple years, and like all these kids, they're going to know how to edit videos. Like you have it in the palm of your hand. So it's like there's no excuse, because like I'm very bad at like using social media like freely. Like I love social media of what it's done with my life, but I also enjoy it. Like TikTok is one of the best things ever because I'm so ADHD and it's video content. That's why I always resonated with Instagram. Like I miss Twitter because like I'm not a big writing person. I don't like to like read like even books. I do Audible. But my point being is, find what works for you. And then like you said, go all in on it and just film your day. Like if you're out driving for dollars, you can make videos. Like just it's like the Gary V, like you know what I mean? Like you document, you don't like create really. Like just document your life. My life isn't that exciting. I work out, hang with my family, and do a lot of real estate. Like there's not too much to it, but people resonate, with the message and what I share. And now, obviously with reels, and we can talk about like growth and all that too, and like how to grow. But I think so many people, they get caught up on like growth and how many followers, and like you really only need like 1,000 true fans. Like the 30 people that are in this room, like that's the people that I want to you know, like I want to help because you're taking time out of your day to come listen, you know what I mean, to me, but I have a lot of value to give. But that's, you know, social media, and you know what I mean, like people are always going to hate. People are going to, you know, the comments that we get, I love it because other people see it and comment, and it just keeps getting pushed up. And it doesn't matter if you're winning or losing, like people are still going to talk shit, so you might as well have fun with it. And you know what I mean, like just be you.
Yeah, and what I want people to understand too is that it is a really long game. Like I've had people that joined the team. I've had people that have lent us money on specific projects that were following me for like literally 2 years. And they were like in some ways like gold followers, right? It wasn't a lot of engagement until like, 18 months in, they're like, okay, this guy kind of seems like he knows what he's doing. I mean, he's been, I've been following this guy for a year and a half.
Yeah.
He's here. So like, and then they engage with us, and then we actually work together. But did that happen in 5 minutes? No, it happened like over a year and a half. But the trust is built, and I think I've heard Brandon say this too. It's like this tool of social media allows you to build trust at scale, and that's that's we've never all been able to say that in the past. So that's why he's able to raise $30-40 million. Because based on people following him for many years, gain so much value that they're like, hey, I trust this guy. I'm gonna invest, $100,000 with him. So
yeah, bro. Let me give you a quick story on that. I love what you just said, that you can influence at scale. I've never thought of it like that, but that's a powerful way to say it. So my first private money lender is a good buddy of mine that I met through Facebook, right? Because I don't just share on Instagram and TikTok. Like I said, the only one that I don't really do is Twitter, just because like I feel like I missed that wave, and it's not me. But my point being is, so I share everything on Facebook too, just a different way, right? Because it's an older crowd. And I met this guy, and he sold insurance or whatever. And then he was also, he'll buy rentals. And so I had a deal that, because of social media, he saw what I was doing. And then I had a deal, and then I showed it to him. He was going to buy it. Well, what happened is the title company, they screwed me over, and they closed the deal behind me with a different buyer or whatever. But he had given me earnest money, and, I was just wholesaling at the time, and he gave it to me directly. So I could have just like, you know what I mean? Like I could have been a shitty person and just kept his earnest money.
Didn't even have to give him anything, right?
Yeah, like I could have been like, hey, the title company screwed us. It is what it is. I'm keeping your money. But that's not me, right? And I share this story because it's so pivotal for people. So that was, at the big, I was probably two years in. We'll say I'm on year 6 of real estate. About 3 years later, right? Like I started buying rentals. He would do my insurance, just cool guy, stayed in contact. But because of social media, I kept sharing what we were doing when we started buying, then we started flipping. And then we ended up bidding on the same house, and I ended up getting it. And then he was like, hey, if you ever need money for deals, let me know. And I was like, cool. And we did a couple of deals like that, right? Like organically. So over the next, couple year, basically, I built that relationship. Well, now he's introduced me to his friends, and that I go to say, because of social media and doing the right thing, that's my main points from this tangent, is that relationship and doing the right thing now has led me to a relationship of having access to, $10+ million that I can do pretty much what I want, as long as it's a good deal. You know what I mean? But I say that to say, like, by doing the right thing and by sharing it on social media, the trust was already built there, so that when I needed money, like one time he ran out of money, he called a friend, and based off of him having a 10-minute conversation with them in social media, they were like, yeah, I'll do the deal. And they gave me 500. It started with 500,000. And now, they've given me, they haven't given me a cap. They just said, keep buying. So that's what I'll do. But my point being is just take care of people and like share everything. Like, so it's like you're attracting the money and the deals, but that was 3-4 years over time. That's what people think this happens overnight. Like I've been doing the same thing for 6 years, and I feel like I'm just now reaping like baby benefits, whatever those are.
That trust was earned over time, right? It didn't just come out of nowhere.
I love what Derrick says, like, we just getting warmed up.
We just heating up, baby. Like, for sure.
We just heating up. No, one thing I wanted to say about that thing too, though, is that it is, this business is small. And I remember when I first got started, a couple of joint venture partners I did deals with, I mean, they took advantage of me because they were more seasoned investors and whatnot. And, they kind of cut me out of a couple of deals. They cut me short on my commissions. And I remember like never forgetting that, because I was like, hey man, like I'm going to be something, like you guys are missing out. Like, deals right here, but like, you guys are really going to do me dirty over like 10 grand or 15 grand. It wasn't that much money for me. It meant a lot, because I was like, I worked really hard to get these deals, but then it's like, okay, so you're going to lose our relationship that we've had for years just over, this, like, cause you just want to, keep a little bit more equity, or, you know, you want to, you know, just grind me down a little bit more, going back on what we agreed on. And I, you know, both of those people that did me wrong have both come back to me in the last year or two and said, hey, you know, wondering if we want to do some business. And guess what? I'm not doing business with them because they've already, you know, they burnt that bridge. But and so it's just like, that's what you're saying, do the right thing, because, you know, like, it'll come back. I mean, karma is real. Like, people
bad or good.
Yeah, like, and you know, I got the monster deals, and you know, now they've seen that I've grown into a bigger investor. Now they're like trying to come around. Like, no, bro, like, I'm sorry, I'm not working with you anymore. Like, you already, you know, you killed that.
Yeah, like they fumbled like 100,000, or like I said, in my case, I mean, think about that. If I would have kept $3,000, I would have lost access to $10+ million.
Millions.
And
right?
now that I say that, right, because I tell people that occasionally, like that story, I need to really make a YouTube video on that, because I'm so big on like, just do the right thing, man, and like take care of people. And at the time, like that, like you said, that 3,000 like was everything to me, bro. It was hard
number.
to give it
That's
back,
a
bro.
big number, yeah.
And now it's like, I shit 3,000. You know what I mean? Like, life is just,
that's a big marketing budget for you when you're getting started as a wholesaler, right? That's like, hey man, this is a good opportunity to get some more leads, to get some more generation, or I have to give, you know, that's a tough call. But I think doing the right thing, the honesty, even in your content, right? Like putting out honest, truthful content. I think that, you know, really, really does go a long way, right? Well, guys, I want to kind of talk a little bit about, you know, Derrick, like we said, you do multiple different kind of deals, right? So you're obviously in the trenches pretty regularly, right? Like, you've seen just about everything. So what are like maybe one or two of the biggest like lessons that you've learned from like being out there, like, you know, that a newer investor could say, okay, you know, if I'm going to check out this house and, you know, Derrick's sitting there with me, like, what's the one thing that he would want me to know in here? Like, check the faucet twice. Like, you know, obviously that's an easy one, but like, what are maybe two of the biggest lessons that you've learned in the trenches out there? Any kind of deal.
Yeah, no, it's funny because I was just talking about this with some fellows, but number one, never trust sellers. Like, sellers will lie to you, bro. I've literally had pastors like lie to me. Like, I'm not even lying.
You did not.
Yeah. So don't trust sellers, but also, like, repetition is the mother of skill, right? The more you go out and do these appointments and talk with people, you know, that muscle builds. So, you know, like, if you're newer, go on as many appointments. Like, even if you know they're nothing, like, you could still learn something from it. Like, if this is something that you truly want to do, because you never know, like, you may talk to them, leave a card, they tell their Aunt Susie, and 10 months down the road, you know, they'll come back around. So, you know, and take care of people, like we just said. Like, if you take care of people, it will always come back. But yeah, and be consistent. Like you said, like, I've seen a lot of stuff. I won't say I've seen it all, because I'm always amazed by people and situations. Like, I could tell you stories for days, but, you know, just make sure you're protected, your contracts are good, you use a good title company. And I think the most important thing, and you know, is networking, right? And that's another reason why I do social media. I joked about it earlier, is because it makes it easier for other people to talk to me, and then I want to talk to them, right? Because I'm not the person I'm just not a braggadocious like person. So it's not like I'm gonna go in a room, because networking is essentially like go in a room and brag about yourself, and a lot of people do that. And like, you know, we've all been in networking events where you meet these people and they just talk about themselves. And, you know, like, I'll walk off smooth. Like, nowadays I'll walk away mid conversation, like, I don't care. So it's like, you know, get out there and network though with the right people, and, you know, you'll meet your tribe, man. Like I said, like, meeting you guys, and I've even myself, I struggle with this. And, you know, for 2022, one of my biggest goals was to be very intentional about networking, right? So that's, and it's funny because as soon as I did that, like a week later, I get a message from Brandon about going to this mastermind, and then it's like I went to another event, and then I went to, like, I've been to, you know, 4 or 5 events this year. You know, I'll probably see you guys at the Bigger Pockets event. My buddy is hosting an event in Houston, and I do local networking here with a bunch of guys too, because you never know where deals are going to come from, but it's really just good to get around people. I mean, I think most of the time when we're together, it's funny. Like, I was just thinking the other day about our conversations, and you know, everything. And even with what's his name, Eric, with the ADU, and the ADU guy that, you know, we met and everything, and like, he's so dope. And Chris Vasquez, all these dudes. And it's just like, I think most of the time we just talk about mindset, which is crazy, but it's just good to get around like-minded people and know that you're not crazy. Because everybody, that's the thing, is like, once you go after your dream or whatever it is you want to obtain, like everybody's going to start throwing rocks at you, even if that's intentional and not intentional, right? Like a lot of time our family, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. Like, you know what I mean? Like people just speak to you from a level of their comfort. And for me, I don't have comfort, right? Like my whole life, like if we really dove into my life, like everything in my life has been a risk. So it's like, I don't have anything to lose. So I don't care to fail. I don't care to look stupid. Like I really just don't care what other people think. Like I'll do my own thing as long as I feel that it's right and it's ethically and morally right. I will always bet on myself because, like I said, I mean, this business literally changed my life, and it took a lot longer. And like I said, it's crazy because it's like I thought I would be here 3 years ago, and it's like I look back, I was not prepared. And what's going to happen in the next 5 years? You know what I mean? It's just going to snowball. But it takes a lot of momentum, to build that. And it's not going to be easy. And it's good to have a solid group of people around you that you can just talk to and know when shit's good and when shit's bad, like you're going to make it through.
Yeah, and I love that because in the networking, especially when it's like stuff where you're networking with other investors that are kind of similar levels or doing some stuff that maybe in different areas that you want to learn, is that a lot of what we talk about is like, oh, what's going well, what's going wrong with with like all the like challenges, because we'll literally be like in a car. I remember we were in a car, like you're dealing with this fire and I'm dealing with this other issue, and then like in between we're talking about what we're gonna do at the conference, and like I think a lot of people get that I have become team members of mine, have spent some time with me, and they're like, oh man, like, they think based on social media that I'm just hanging out, or that, the team is doing everything. Like, no, like I'm in meetings back to back to back. I'm negotiating deals. I'm doing all this. And they're only seeing a small piece of that. But
Yeah.
like when we're around other, like, I like how you put that with the, going into the room and kind of like bragging about yourself. And sometimes like that's maybe a little bit easier because you've been out there, you've been putting in massive work for a couple of years, and then you could just like, hey, yeah, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And you got to kind of like, like be humble about it, because nobody wants to be that dude. And then like there's other people who are like, you're just like all hyped up and you're talking. And I met several people where they're just like, you would imagine by the way they were talking, like they've accomplished a lot, but they haven't really accomplished anything. I'm like, do you even have a property, or have you done any deals? And they just have this big old ego, and it's like,
and then they start talking around it, right? Like, because you can tell those people pretty quickly, and then I'm like, oh, that's great. How many deals have you done?
Yeah.
And like in that the conversation usually, and that's when I usually walk off after that, because it's no value for me. It's not to be disrespectful. It's just at this point where I'm at, I don't think that I could be of help to you, or you could be of help to me. I mean, I could probably be of help to you, but you're just going to drain everything from me. So it's like, I would rather go spend my time with that person who's stumbling along. Maybe they've been on a couple appointments, but they just haven't locked up a property. Like I truly, because I resonate with those people, because I remember being in that position. And, those are the people that are willing to learn, because even the guy that's just talking about himself, when you're talking, he's not going to be listening anyway. So it's like, there's not going to be any value because they're just waiting to respond. I really want those people that are going to like tune in and listen, and maybe they bring me some value as well. And I still, even when I go to networking events, like I hang with people that I know or like recognize, and if people come up, like I'll definitely start a conversation, but I'm still not that guy to just go in a room and be like, I'm here, like, you know what I mean? You got to talk to me, bow down. Like I've never been, like I said, it probably comes from coming from a small town. Like I'm just a very humble person, like, but I think it's why people resonate, because then it's easier for people to come talk to me. And I like that. Because for me,
you're more approachable, I think people can resonate with them. Like, oh, hey, that's someone I could, say hello, talk to. I love when I meet people at conferences, but we do joke around sometimes. We'll be like, it'll be like 3-4 of us. We're kind of like, intermediate seasoned investors. And then the other homie is like getting stuck with the newbie that's taking all his energy. And we're like, oh man, let's go rescue him if we can. Yeah. But then the crew will be more than happy to bring on that person that maybe got that one deal. They're not kind of where we're at, but like clearly they're a hustler. Clearly they're asking good questions, and they're taking action. So we're happy to. But it's those ones that just come and just drain your energy, and it's all about them, and then they're really not listening to you. I think you can have said it better. So we love the network, but man, it can take a lot of energy from you, especially when people are like not doing it like, purposefully, or like not bringing really anything to the table and just taking. It's like, okay, well, bro, why am I going to spend another 15 minutes with you when I can be talking to Derrick over there? I know I'm going to get value from hanging with my boy over there rather than like talking to you for another 10 minutes. And I don't even know if you're going to take action because,
Right. Yeah.
So it's tricky.
Real quick, I want to open the floor up for any kind of questions. I know we've gone over a couple of different things here with Derrick. Obviously, super thankful that he was able to join us today and kind of go through his story as an investor. So we do want to just open it up, guys. There's a Q&A feature down there on the bottom. Go ahead and use that. I know we have one question coming in from Javier. I'd love to ask that one for us here real quick. Derrick, was just when you started wholesaling, did you start cold calling? Were you doing mailers? I know you said, before you did a couple of different things. You've done bandit signs, like you've done it all, right?
Yeah. The only thing I've never done is bandit signs.
Okay,
but
so
I
remember you were telling me you've done everything but something. I was like, I couldn't remember if it was bandit signs or wasn't. So
yeah, but
cold calls, mailers, texting, everything, right?
Yeah, now we do. Back in the day, it was more, this was before cold calling. So it's like direct mail was the thing back then. And I think direct mail still works. It's funny because we were actually looking at like getting back into direct mail just to pair, with our website. But like now, we do cold calling. We actually just started over with a new cold calling team because our people hadn't been performing. We really dove into the numbers over the last 3 months because it's been about 3 months since we've gotten a deal. And I'm like, we've been buying data. We've twerked the dialer. We've went through a couple of process of elimination. So, we're starting over with that. My buddy recommended some good people. And then we have a backup group that we use, Call Magicians. They're pretty good too. But anyways, we do cold calling. We do texting. And then SEO has been really big for us lately, but that's a long game. It's very expensive. And then half of our deals honestly come from social media. Like now it's crazy. But at least 50% of our deals come from social media. I've bought, I think 3 houses in the last 2 weeks, and I think they all came from social media. So yeah, that's why it's just so important to share what you're doing. But back then it was direct mail. It took me 6 months to get a deal. I had a small budget of like $200 at the time, and once again, I almost gave
real
up.
Quick, because again, like 6 months is like that's a long time for people. Like I know some people would have given up, but like you said, you're invested, have your girlfriend's money on the line on this thing. Like there's no going back at this point, right? So 6 months in to get a deal, right?
Yeah, 6 long months. Like I said, my budget was $200 a month, so I think I was sending like 200-300 postcards a month, writing them out. So yeah, I was doing that, and honestly, it's funny you said it because I'm in my kitchen crying like a baby back bitch, basically. Like I just was at my wit's end, and my girl was like, we've put so much time into this, like let's see it through. And then I think it was 5 or 7 days later, on my 24th birthday, I got my first deal, and we made 8,000. So that was like my 2 feet from gold. Like, cause I was literally like, I'm done.
You give up 2 feet from the goal, right? And it's like
bro,
right there, bro.
So close. And like, bro, I hated my job. I got to the point where I hated going to work. Just like, I love like meeting people and waiting to this thing that should work, but it wasn't working. And like, I was going on appointments, so it was working. I think we just get, we get doubt sometimes, and it was working. I just hadn't closed a deal yet, but it, then it becomes the numbers game. So yeah, 6 long months, and I definitely got to my breaking point, and my girl stepped up and pushed me through. But it was a long 6 months, and I have friends that it took a year or two, like they would dabble and quit and get started, and but yeah, 6 long months.
It can take a while, man. What cold call company are you using? Willie wants to know, or Wiley Montgomery is asking, what company are you switching to for cold calling? I guess aside from Call Magicians, are you using anybody else?
Yeah, we are. My buddy recommended a company. I don't think they're like a big company. They just work with like a few big guys. And they're based out of Egypt, I think, because they sound a little bit better than the Philippines. And I think Call Magicians, they use Egypt people too. I feel bad, but that's like Ben handles most of that stuff. Like I'm more of like the flips and putting out fires and project management. But I just know that we weren't getting leads from cold calling because I kept asking, because I'm seeing where the leads are coming from. But yeah, and we use, I think I saw somebody ask, we use just REI Reply for our CRM. It's super simple, and everything else is pretty much Google Sheets that we run or keep track of. I mean, we try to keep it pretty simple. My business partner and myself, we're not really big data guys. We're more of like implement and visionary, you know, but he's just not, we're not very analytical people. It's something honestly we could be better at.
Cool stuff, man. I know a lot of people are looking at KPIs, and that's a big thing that people want to work on. So it's good to have a partner. I know what we're going to do now is just kind of welcome everybody onto the screen real quick. Again, if anybody has any kind of last minute questions they wanted to ask for our guy Derrick here, great chance to right now. I know Alex, we're super appreciative. This was a great talk. Getting to kind of dive in and again show you guys the evolution of an investor, right? Somebody who started off 6 months in, gets a deal, is able to quit their job, kind of go full time, had spent some money at the beginning on some investment, courses and strategies. So like, I think this is somebody who, obviously can resonate with a lot of people here in this room. So, again, if anybody has any last minute questions or comments, feel free to fire them off right now. And Alex, we can kind of hear a last minute, word or two from you as well.
Well, yeah, man, I just want to say thank you, Derrick, and everybody that showed up today. I think we talked quite a lot about social media. I think it's connected a lot of us here. And I think we went pretty deep on that because we see, continued value from it. And, so keep using the deal makers because it's a way to grow your business and to connect with other investors and to see what other people are up to, and then, events and things like that. So I don't have much to say. I appreciate your time, Derrick, and we'll get you blocked in as a special guest for the following downtown LA meetup. Definitely would like to have you out here in California and check out some cool stuff here in LA. And I'm sure we'll be in Texas sometime in the near future, and maybe we hang out with you there, or San Diego for Bigger Pockets conference. So it's gonna be great, man. Thanks for showing up. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, no, like I said, I appreciate you guys having me. I could talk real estate all day. So no, it's been good. And like I said, I'm on social media. It's just flipping a house. I'll put it in the chat if you guys want to follow. I've dropped daily, weekly, long form content, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. I don't really have a course or anything to sell you. I have a couple ebooks, but I really I think I believe in charging people a lot of money to learn this, because I mean most of the information's out there. It's just more about implementation. But yeah, like I just appreciate you guys hanging out with me and listen to me ramble.
Action kills doubt, guys. Action will kill your doubt. Let's go.
Anyone want to share their biggest takeaway from today? Who has a takeaway they got from today? Again, I think Alex's was action kills doubt. I think mine was document, don't create. Remember, when you're out there, you don't have to worry about creating content. Like Derrick's an introverted guy, right? He's not the guy that's going to go out there and be doing that, but he's really just, like he said, he's documenting. He's like, hey, I put out this fire today. I did that today. Like, let me get a little bit of that and I'll put it together as a video. So anybody else have a big takeaway they want to share with the rest of the gang today?
I have something here. I want to talk to you about it. Today has been a significant day. It has nothing to do with what we have been talking today, though. But today the Feds have changed the rates another 3/4 of a point, and that exactly is something not good. But it drove the bond yields higher, bond yields down. So what it did today is the action would be really visible tomorrow, but it did lower the interest rate. So the interest rates are coming down. I mean, they're not at the peak. They peaked at on 16th of June last month. And I think we may have that whole thing behind us. It may look like. So there is some good news. I mean, the fear is there that the real estate market is going to crash and all that. But if the interest rates starts coming down and they're lower, I think that we have very little to fear for that. So the bond yields have gone down. The bonds have rallied, and next few days is going to be crucial to see what this Fed rate hike has done. It was a big day, and tomorrow another number is coming in here, which is a GDP. If the GDP contracts this quarter, you have a recession officially. But within a recession, it could still be good real estate if the rates are low.
Yeah,
So
thank you, Dan. I
contribute.
appreciate your feedback there, but we'll see how it all plays out. But definitely, we're keeping a very close eye on interest rates, but because as you said, I mean, they are affecting real estate, but there are recessions that happen where real estate is not, it's not tanking. So we gotta pay close attention to the numbers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
Good stuff, guys. Again, I think everybody who's on this call, you must have taken away a big win from today. Derrick, we appreciate your time, man. We know time is money, and money well spent today. Again, we really do appreciate you jumping on and talking with people, and we can't wait to see you out here in person for one of our next events. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. Y'all have a good day. If you need anything, feel free to DM me.
Hey, really quick. Hey, Derrick, you only have one account, right?
Yeah, if you see another one, report it.
I will do it. There's another one on right now.
So guys, we got 30 people on this call, and there's probably
Report it, guys.
30 that'll watch on YouTube. Report this. Let's get these things handled for Derrick. No more fake accounts. We appreciate you, man. We'll catch you on the flip side. All right.
Absolutely. I'll see you guys.
Alex, thanks for being here, man. Appreciate you, brother.
Deal makers, go get it. See it. Let's go.